A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I greet you, my brothers and sisters, with the noble and universal greeting of peace, the greeting that has been used by the prophets and messengers of our universal Creator, Almighty Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Very grateful to Allah that I am here another Friday and at a closer to Him level. You know, Islamic teachings teach us that when you take one step towards Allah, He takes 10 towards you. You know, I'm saying to you, if you take half, that means it takes 5 towards you. You know, so I've been stepping and I continue to step closer to Allah every day. It is my intention. I live with intention that upon my death I die as a person who is most committed to drawing closer to Allah, and as the closest I can be to Allah at the time of my death, and that I be raised up closest as I can be to Allah. So that is my priority in life, to bring to Allah a purified heart, and every day I apply myself in drawing closer. And so I'm here closer to Allah than I've ever been, only because I've been stepping towards Allah. You got to take steps towards Allah. Now, granted, the people have a mentality of Allah, you come to me. They're making dua. This is how the people that you might be or make dua. Like no responsibility in it, right? So they'll be like, Allah, you come all the steps towards me. Come to me, come to me. I'm making dua that you come to me. Allah says, prostrate and draw closer. Hadith Qudsi says, if you step towards Allah, He steps towards you. The Quran says, if you remember Allah, He remembers you. If you're grateful to Allah, He gives you more. Like we sometimes feel like all we got to do is just make dua to Allah that He fixes everything. That's where I came from. So I'm laughing not at you so much. I'm laughing more at myself and where I was in my life, where I was so spiritually underdeveloped and ignorant that I didn't know what it means to draw closer to Allah, and I didn't experience that assurance in my heart, and I was feeling that state of non-assurance or insecurity. Before guidance comes to you, you're insecure. The Quran tells us when guidance comes to you, you're no longer insecure, you no longer fear and you no longer grieve. When guidance has come to you and you accept it, because you accept truth and you're aware of truth. Now, a lot of people don't want to even accept truth. They don't want to play a role in their own awareness and experiencing, expression, application. A lot of people are just like, help us. Help us is our dua. A lot of people have that as their dua. Desperation is like the spirituality of the masses. Allah, you just do everything, But Allah has given us the ability to reason, and we are to use that ability to reason. Allah has given us the ability to receive guidance and use that guidance. And Allah has given us, the awareness that what happened to Adam and Eve and human beings thereafter, and how we went astray. So we have to turn back. And the Quran has many times verses about returning or turning back to Allah. Now, a lot of people don't want to return or turn back to Allah. They don't want to turn. And so if you fail to remember Allah, a lot of people don't want to remember Allah. If you fail to remember Allah, the Quran says, yours will be a depressed life. You know what I mean? If you fail to remember Allah, yours will be a depressed life. Now, while most of the people who have failed to remember Allah, there's a depressed life, they are begging Allah, help, help, help. They're thinking that's what it means to draw closer to Allah. That's what it means to be intentional to draw closer to Allah, and so on and so forth. So I'm just grateful. I'm extremely grateful that I experience this level of security. It's obviously because I am intentional. Islamic teaching tells us every action is based on its intent. So, like, what is your intent? What is your intention? My intention is to remember Allah and experience assurance in my heart. my intention is to bring to Allah a purified heart. That is my intention. My intention is to receive the guidance and no longer experience insecurity, no longer experience fear in that heart, and that regret or remorse, whatever in the heart. My intention is to shift what is in my heart, because Allah says, if you do not change what is in your heart, He will not change the condition of a people. Verily, Allah does not change the condition of a people who do not change the condition of their heart. The Quran is big about, it is a book bringing to humanity guidance to heal the diseases in the heart. The heart is a very central part of the teaching of the Quran, and the state of one's heart is very important. And I have made it my intention to live with my highest priority, Allah awareness, and experiencing assurance in my heart, and the state of my heart is very important. So I focus on that. That's my priority in life. What is my state of my heart and cleansing my heart? The Quran says there are those who say they believe in Allah and the last day, but they don't believe. In their hearts is a disease. And they lie to themselves thinking they lie to Allah. They think they're lying to Allah, and the believers only lie to themselves. They don't lie to Allah. They're self-deceivers. There are a lot of people who say they believe in Allah in the last day. They're self-deceivers. In their hearts is a disease, and that disease is left to expand. You understand? That disease is expanded. That's what happens. You see, when you fail to remember Allah, when you fail to draw closer to Allah, you will not release that insecurity. Because remember, a mu'min is one who is secure. The English translation of the word mu'min means to be secure. And so when you get guidance and you receive the guidance, you become secure because you know the truth, haqq. You incline to truth, you are Hanifa. But most people, they are not interested in the truth, they're not inclining to truth. They say they believe in Allah in the last day, but they don't believe. They lie to themselves thinking they lie to Allah. In their hearts is a disease, the Quran says. And this is the thing. And that disease is expanded. See? So if you are interested in Allah and closeness to Allah, bringing to Allah a purified heart, you'll find that you won't be among those group of people in whose hearts a disease is, and it's expanded. If you fail to remember Allah, yours will be a depressed life, right? If you fail to be grateful to Allah, you won't get more. Now, you can see, if you fail to remember Allah, your heart will be insecure. Allah puts tranquility into the hearts of the believers as He expands them in faith. You get what I mean? You can see the state of your spiritual well-being, and if you'd like the same, but there's no same and staying the same, right? It's either you're the same and you get worse over time. If you're astray, let me just finish the last part of that verse. It says, in the hearts is a disease, and that disease is expanded. They're astray and they're left to stray, and they perceive it not. So if you are astray, you are left to stray. If you are not really interested in, cleansing your heart, your heart is diseased, and you're astray, and you're left to stray, that disease is expanded. So if you are feeling lighter and lighter every day, if you're feeling better and better every day, if you're feeling more and more assured, reassured, feeling ensured of things getting better and better every day, if you have like positive expectancy, if you've seen that you're on a path, on a track, and things are just getting better and better, because the Quran says keep us on the path where things get better and better, keep us on the straight path. I call it the path of human excellence, where things just get better and better for us because we're playing a better and better role in our life. If you remain insecure with a diseased heart, Allah does not change the condition of a people in whose hearts there's a disease, whose heart's a disease. You've got to change the condition of your heart, and then Allah will change the condition of your life, right? So there are people who don't want to feel better. They don't know that they can feel better. Their focus is not on the inner world of feeling. Their focus is in the outer world of what's happening, right? They're more interested in what's happening. Now that's how I was, and that's how I know about all this. And I've worked with a lot of people over the decades, and I know about this because I've seen in their experience it's been like this too. When you are focused on the outside world and what's happening, When you focus on the created world and what's happening, more than you're focused on the creator of the world and his nature, his name, his nature, then you are certain to remain in a diseased heart state, and you're certain to have that diseased heart expanded. And you'll die in a state of diseased heart, astray. It's either you're astray or you're not. Right? It's either you're astray or you're not. And you may think you are not astray, but you might be astray, because there are those who say they believe in Allah and the last day, but they don't believe. You know what I mean? So you could be a self-deceiver. I was a self-deceiver for most of my life. Going to the mosque and keeping my fasts, and going to the Holy Land, and all the things that all that. So, as I was with other people, but the state of their hearts and my heart was the same. Woe to those who stand in prayer, whose hearts lack the smallest of kindnesses. That's the Quran, right? Woe to those. Saying not good news. Woe, beware, cautious. It's not going to end well. Woe to those who stand in prayer, but in whose hearts there's a disease. Most people stand in prayer, and that heart is diseased. If you look at them, days will come and go, weeks will come and go, months will come and go, years will come and go, decades will come and go, and that heart is not really cleansed. Remember, the only thing that really benefits you is bringing to Allah a purified heart. Neither will your wealth nor your children avail you, the Quran tells, except bringing to Allah a purified heart. If you look at most people, what are their concerns? Their wealth, right? And their families, their children. That's the main thing. Now, fortunately for me, I have not made the accumulation of wealth my priority in this life. I'm very grateful. I met a friend about 2 years ago, and he says, Ashraf, you're so peaceful, and you're so, at ease, and we are so stressed. I said, who are we? He says, we who have made the accumulation of wealth our priority in life. We want wealth, and we want more and more wealth. We're looking for every way we can actually get more money, and we're taking it. And sometimes taking shortcuts along the way and all that sort of thing, right? He says, you're not like that. I said, thanks for noticing that. It's true. I'm not looking for every way to sort of make money and accumulate more and more money. I'm looking for every way that I can draw closer to my Creator. I'm looking for every way that I can experience peace in my heart, cleanse my heart. And he was telling me about his family and his children and his daughters and this and that and this. And I never spoke once about my son or anything like that. And like his problems and this and that, And I recognize the wealth and the families, the wealth and the children are people's distractions in life. Not for me. I'm just grateful, I'm very grateful. Somebody might even look down upon me and say, Ashraf, you're not financially amassed, you don't have massive amounts of money. But you have massive amounts of faith, shukr to Allah. You don't have a lot of children, you only got one child, it's grown up now. So, you got only one son, only one. I got so many. Doesn't matter. First, before anything, I am a creation of Allah. I'm a favored creation of Allah. And everybody, whether they're my family, clients, or anything, we're all the creation of Allah. Matters not whether my parents are my parents. What they are is a creation of Allah. It matters not whether my son is my son. He's a creation of Allah. What matters to me is that they submit and be among those who live and die with Iman in their hearts. That's all that matters to me. Not, hey, how well is my son doing? How much of money is he making? What car is he driving? Oh, that is nice too, right? But that's not the priority. I'm living and I'm dying. What is my legacy to my son? What am I leaving him with? Well, I'm leaving him with a lot of information. They're online. YouTube, Spotify, Friday lectures for not only for this past year. Today is the 27th day of December. Shukr to Allah, every Friday we've done a lecture this year. Not only that, 2024, 2023, every Friday we've done a lecture. Not only that, 2022, every Friday we've done a lecture. Not only that, 2021 in the COVID, we did every Friday a lecture. And 2020, every Friday we did a lecture. Going back, I think most of the Fridays I did lectures. But from 2020, every Friday, I did a Friday lecture. Shukr to Allah, what is that? 52, 52, 52, 52. That's 8. 208 lectures, 208 for 208. 208 lectures for 208 Fridays. I think that's a lovely legacy to leave my family and my children. They can do whatever they want with it. Sometimes you leave your family, all your wealth that you have left, and they blast it. Within days or months or years, it's gone. All your big story of, I left this and I left that, it's all gone sometimes. Or not. And I can leave this for my son. Who knows? Maybe and his children will find it valuable. Maybe he and his friend not. But who cares, right? I care that I'm leaving a legacy. I'm leaving a legacy of the way to live. That's what I care about. Now some people are like, you're so stupid. You're so stupid. Money, 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 family, family. That's shaitan. Shaitan. This world is not, now this is what happens. When you say you believe in Allah and the last day and you don't believe, and you perceive it not, you don't act congruently. You say, yeah, but this world is not the main world, but, we're not supposed to get distracted by this world, but, I'm not, if you look at people, if they control by the world, they control by the world. You get what I mean? If they're trying to control the world, they're trying to control the world. There's no but. Now when you worship Satan, the Quran says, humanity, what has deluded you? Do not follow the whisperer. Do not follow the whisperer. Don't follow the whisperer. He misled your foreparents. Now he will mislead you. You will be with him in the fire if you do not, receive the guidance and worship me. Allah says that, right, in the Quran, that worship me. Worship me. Don't be afraid about the things of this world. Don't let them distract you. This world is nothing but distraction. But when you worship Satan, you think you're here for this world. You think you're here for your parents. You think you're here for your children. You think you're here for your business. You think you're here for this world. You might not perceive it. That's how self-deceivers are. They don't perceive it. Their actions are, and I'm not judging self-deceivers or hypocrites, munafiqs. I'm not judging them. To them, their own way. The Quran says there's choice and consequence. Allah will show us where we differ. Now, why I'm saying this to you is because I used to be a munafiq. And I'm making a contrast. What is my priority today? Guidance. The guidance. The guidance of the Quran as demonstrated by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The awareness of Allah. This is what my priority is today. That's how it is. That's how it is for me. I choose that. So, guidance. Let's talk about guidance. So we are guided to claim refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. That Satan is an enemy of Allah. That means as you're going through your day, you have Satan whispering to you, especially when you have forgotten Allah. Satan threatens you with insecurity and causes you to behave in ways unseemly. This is the kind of behaviors. Get what I mean? The people who are Allah unaware, they sort of, they get affected like that. You can see their behavior. Satan threatens you with insecurity and causes you to behave in ways unseemly. See, you start living like you're here for this world. You're here for, everybody in this world. You are the gods of the people around you. The people around you are your gods. You turn to the world. You project power into this world. You live unaware. It comes back to what I was saying earlier on, that you're not focused within your being aware of Allah. You're focused into the physical world. And you can do that. Allah will show you where you are at error. The Quran just cautions you and says, you don't really want to do that. If you do that, it doesn't end well. If you focus more on the world than the creator of the world, you are more lost in your roles. I'm a father, I'm a mother, I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a sister, I'm a boss, I'm an employee. You're more lost in your human body, mind, and its roles. You think you're more, a mother to a son, or a father to a son, or you think you're more a son to a mother and father than you are the creation of Allah to Allah. You see, when you are a believer, when you submit, when you bow, like Abraham, the Quran says, follow in the way of Abraham, who was Hanifa, inclining to truth. His father was his father, but he told his father, you are in error. He wasn't rude, he wasn't nasty. He said, you are in error. He confronted falsehood. See, he confronted falsehood. He said, this is not truth. See, he was no, I'm the son of the idol maker, and we make idols. He didn't identify with, I'm the son of so-and-so, I'm Abraham, the son of so-and-so. I think his name is in the Quran, I forget now. I don't want to say the wrong name. You know what I mean? I think it starts with an A. Abraham's father. And, he didn't say, I'm the son of my father, we are idol makers, and this is what we do, we make idols. He realized, I'm beyond the role of a son. And my father is beyond the role of a father. The most important thing is not me being a son to my father, or my father being a son to me. You get what I mean? And later on, he was tested, as a father to the son. He was being a father to his son. He had two sons that we hear about in the Quran. Isaac, from Hagar, from Hajra, peace be upon her, Allah's mercy upon her, is you get Ishmael. And from Sarah, you get Isaac. And, he was attached to Ismail. And he was requested to release his attachment, which he did. So you can see, the roles of family. This is my father and mother, this is my clan. Abraham told his clan straight, you guys are up to nonsense. This is all superstition, this is all falsehood. Yes, thank you. So, Azhar, I don't know, Azhar, I think so. His father's name was Azhar. A-Z-A-R, not A-Z-H-A-R, I'm not sure, but Azhar. So, said to his father, this is untruth. And his father didn't say you're right or you're wrong. He just said we follow the ways of our forefathers. We are inclining. So his father and family chose to continue their role in a tribe. We are in a tribe, this is what we do. They remained unconscious. This is what happens, right, in the world, and is happening today. That you can be in a role of a child of a parent, parent of a child, member of a tribe, and you could be just following in the ways of the tribal ways, and and you might not submit that, look, first, before anything, I am a creation of Allah. And my parents, my children, the tribal members, everybody, we're all creation of Allah first. Let's start there. Every human being is a creation of Allah, given favor, given guidance, created, with worth. If you try to count the favors of Allah, they're innumerable. Allah is the unconditionally gifting to humanity. We are all, first, the unconditionally gifted to creation of Allah. And not only that, we are endlessly given and immediately granted. Allah says, say to the believers that I am near. I respond to the invocation of the supplicant when they call upon me. He responds to the invocation. Allah is immediately granting. Doesn't say, tell the supplicant, I'm far, I'm coming, they must pray and they must beg. Tell them I'm here, I hear, and I respond. I'm responding. They are responded to. So we have all these kind of ideas, right? Because we're not really believers. Now don't take it personally, because all have not really been believers until guidance comes to them, and then they submit. They submit who I think I am. I'm the father of, I'm the son of, I'm part of the people of, this is the world, this is what's going on, this is my role, this is my responsibility. When you submit, I can tell you from personal experience, all that you release. That I am not closer to the world. Allah is closer to us than our own jugular veins. Allah is closer to us than our own bodies. See? Allah is near. I choose to be with that nearness of Allah. Ibrahim alayhi salam, was called Khalilullah. Khalil means friend. Friend because of closeness, intimacy. Intimacy is closeness. See? He was closer to Allah than his family, his tribe, his children, himself. He's closer to Allah than himself. And that's why he was given the favor, the favor of being the father of nations. Because that was a nation in itself of believers. He led, humanity into an awareness that people didn't have at that particular time. The awareness of Allah. They were more interested in whose sons they were and whose parents they were and whose brothers and sisters they were and which tribe they were. They were more interested in doing what they always did. They weren't interested in Allah and drawing closer. They were more interested in worshipping Satan than actually becoming aware of Allah and claiming refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. They more wanted to continue being who they were. You see? And that's what had to go for me. Look, I'm not saying that I'm special, but I am telling you that I have submitted. I have become Allah aware. The Quran encourages us to be. Just now you start thinking, human beings can't be Allah aware. The Quran is encouraging us to become Allah aware. Remember Allah abundantly, that you may progress, that you may prosper. Remember Allah, that you have experience in your heart. Now, some human beings are so confused because they're stuck in that other mindset. They can't understand that a human being can remember Allah and experience the purification of their heart. And they can too. They got a story into their head why, that you can't do that. That's only for very pious people. No, that's for humble people. That's for people who are intentionally living their lives, who want guidance, who receive guidance, who hear guidance. That doesn't make me special. Some people start saying, hey, he's claiming to be special and he's claiming to be better than us. I'm claiming no such thing. I'm only claiming that I was a hypocrite and now I'm not a hypocrite. I actually believe in Allah. And my heart is a reflection of that level of security that comes only from believing in Allah, in being aware of Allah. We believe in Allah. The Quran says He guides your heart. I get guidance through the intuition that Allah gives me, guides my heart, if you believe in Allah. Now if you've got a diseased heart and a sick heart and you're in this world for the world and you're a parent and son and a tribal member and all that and you're just doing your work and you live in the morning, you get up, your life centers around work, you family, children, money, you go to bed at night, your life is centered around family, children, money. This is why we have salah, which most people don't even know what it is really. Up, down, kiss the ground, turn around. You know what I mean? No. It's where you leave everything in those times of, salah. It's the mi'raj of the mu'min. The mi'raj of the mu'min. Of the believer. A lot of munafiqs are, woe to those whose hearts are diseased to stand in prayer with a diseased heart, So there are many people whose hearts are astray, their hearts are diseased, and they stand in prayer. Up, down, kiss the ground, turn around. The Quran is saying, woe to you. I was one of those. And you can do that. People do that. And they think they are believers. The Quran says, do not say that you're a believer. There are people who said the kalima, the shahada, they said, we testify. And they came to the Prophet and they said, we are believers. The Quran responded, Archangel Gabriel, Jibreel alayhi salam, brought through a revelation. The Prophet repeated it. Do not say that you are a believer, for faith has not entered into your heart. Faith has not entered into your heart. Do not say you're a believer, for faith has not entered into your heart. Rather say you are one who is submissive in religion. For faith has not entered. Do not say you're a believer. Get what I mean? Faith has not entered. So there are many people, faith hasn't entered into their hearts. They say they believe in Allah in the last day. Their hearts are diseased. That disease is expanded. They're left astray. Many people. They're clueless. They don't know Satan is the enemy of Allah. They don't know about this, claim refuge with Allah from Satan. They are cursed. They don't know about this intention, that you can live with this protection intention. How valuable it is to be given the gift of A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitani Rajim. Because this is what it boils down to. That will you be continuing to be controlled by Satan and continue in your ways of your forefathers or your own ways? Or will you claim the refuge with Allah and be guided by Allah to truth, to security, to live in a way that really benefits you with Him, that really benefits you with you, your body, your life, your future life, your afterlife, areas of your life, with people, things and experiences. You see, when you claim refuge with Allah, you move into a peace consciousness. What is a peace consciousness? Salam. There in the Middle East you have two cousins, the people of Moses and the people of Muhammad, peace be upon them both. And they claim to be worshipping the same one universal creator. One says salam, the other one says shalom. But where is the peace? Where is the peace? They say peace. Peace is not something you say. It's something that you demonstrate. It's something that you practice. Like patience. The Quran says Allah is with those who are patient. But look at those who stand in prayer, in whose hearts the lack of the smallest of kindnesses. They're impatient with their loved ones. They're impatient with people. There's no kindness. There's no allowance. There's no being compassionate. This is the nature of Allah. Peace, salam, patience, compassion. See? When you live your life and you're more interested in this world, and the world seems very real to you, the more you control by the world and the more you try to control the world, the less you'll be interested in your peace, your well-being, your spiritual well-being, your okayness, your assurance, your reassurance. You won't be interested in the experiencing of peace, that ease, that salam, that tranquility, that I'm feeling more than I've ever felt in my life. That being pleased, that being grateful. So you can use your own eyes to look and see at the people around you, including you. What is the state of your heart and the people's hearts? Are they living controlled by the world? Are they trying to control the world? Are they more focused on the inner being of peace, security, patience, compassion, love, kindness, and generosity? Are they demonstrating these? Allah has breathed His soul into us. This is why we can experience the nature of Allah from a beingness perspective. We can experience being peaceful. Allah is as-salam. We can experience being peaceful. Allah is as-sabur, the patient. We can experience being patient. Allah is ar-Rahman, ar-Rahim, compassionate and merciful. We can experience being compassionate and merciful. Allah is al-Wadud. We can experience being loving. Allah is loving, but we can experience being loving. And kind, ar-Rauf. Allah is, the gifting, the giving, the generous, the endlessly, infinitely blessing. You understand? To Allah belong the most beautiful names, meaning the nature of Allah. And so, when somebody is diseased in their hearts, they are far away from being aware of Allah and His nature, His wonderful nature. They're not really interested in Allah. Allah has given us the ability to be aware of Him. What an amazing thing. They're like, just, but we are believers. The Quran says, no, you're not a believer, you're submissive in religion. And who knows what half-baked Islamism that they're following too. So when you claim refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed, you are claiming, the awareness, the potential for awareness that you have as a believer. And you are claiming the possibility of peace, Iman, Amal, life tayyibun. Those possibilities of peace, progress, and prosperity in this world and paradise in the world beyond cannot be accessed if you are not aware. You see, you won't experience being peaceful, being progressive, being prosperous. This is Iman, Amal, life tayyibun. The Quran says if you have Iman in your heart and you conduct yourself in honorable ways, whether you're a man or whether you're a woman, yours will be a blessed, wholesome life. You will have a blessed, wholesome life. In this world, and a blissful return. Now, how many people are having a blessed, wholesome experience of life in this world? I got my hand up. Why? Because there's Iman. There's a commitment to living with Iman in my heart. Why? Because I'm committed to Amal. I'm committed to what I call security, selflessness, and satisfaction. But you can't be committed to peace, progress, the power to progress and prosperity in this world. If you have that Iman, Amal, and a life tayyibun, then there is for you paradise in the world beyond. How wonderful. But if you are living your life as one who is self-deceiving, if you are living your life as one who is, diseased in your heart and you astray and you perceive it not, you say you believe but you don't believe, that doesn't end well. The munafiqs, those who say they believe but they don't, those who self-deceive, they don't want to see the truth about themselves, they don't want to correct, they want to continue in their ways but thinking that they are doing wonderful for themselves, which they are no different from those who are polytheists. Because the polytheists and the munafiqs, they say there's a God, but they're not aware of God. The difference between a true believer and a polytheist and a munafiq is that a true believer is aware of Tawheed. They're aware that only Allah actually exists. We are His creation in His care. They are aware and they can see that guidance has come to them and they have accepted it. That first is Allah, the only, the actual. There is no other. Because of whom we are. There is no Allah and us. We didn't cause ourselves, we don't cause ourselves to continue. A true believer is humble. That it is because of Allah, the great designer who designed us and fashioned us as human beings in the best of molds, favored us. You see, the one who is inclining to truth will receive the guidance. Those who say they're inclining to truth and they're just living controlled by the world, trying to control the world, they're not receiving the guidance. You get what I mean? So let me just make this more clear to you. When you were growing up, you grew up in a family where they had certain ideas. They had ideas about like eating, right? So let's say you grew up in a family and they didn't eat halal. It can happen. And if you're growing up and you come across the Quran says consume halal, eat food that is lawful and permissible for you, there's value in it. So you stop eating food that, is not halal. You start eating food that is bloodlet and the name of Allah pronounced at the time of its death. There's bloodletting, the food is healthy, it's done out of, gratitude, the animal slaughtering and all sort of thing to Allah. You're eating good meat, and meat that is, blessed, rather than eating meat where just killed with no awareness of Allah's favors to humanity and gift of the animal to us, and the animal may not be bloodlet, that they kill it, but the blood is still in the body. There's no slaughtering of the jugulars, where the blood leaves. You could be eating meat that is contaminated by, all kinds of hormones, distress hormones that the animal died at the time of death. You might be eating all that. You might be not thinking, why I'm not feeling good, or why I'm feeling like this. So let's say you grew up in a home where you didn't know about halal, that certain things like split hooves and all, don't eat. That this is not meant to be consumed. A cat, a lion, you're not supposed to eat these things. Look, there are times when there's no food, and then for survival you have to eat. Then it's halal. Under certain conditions, even that which is haram is permissible, because it's better not to not die and eat something unhealthy than to eat something unhealthy when it's best to eat something healthy when there's that available, and if there's nothing available, it's best to eat unhealthy than to not eat and die. You get what I mean? Islam makes sense, right? It's not like, under no circumstance must I eat this food. No. Some people are like, I'll never ever eat it. But the Quran doesn't say that. It says it's permissible if there's no other food. People, no, this is wrong. They have no clue. They have no understanding. The Quran says the lowliest of people are the people who have no understanding. The lowliest of people are those who don't want guidance. The lowliest of people are those who don't want to reason. That's what the Quran says. They're like animals, nay worse, the Quran says. Shukr to Allah who's guided us, gave us the guidance. See, I've learned, I know these things. You can learn, you can say shukr to Allah, what mercy and what kindness upon us to give us this kind of guidance. You might have grown up in a family where they told you haram is haram. Even if you got no food and you're dying, you must not eat haram. Must not eat haram. Haram. You could have grown up in a family like that. Nobody told you what the message of the Quran was when you were growing up. You get what I mean? Sometimes you might have grown up in a family where they told you, eat halal, and if there is no other food and you're dying, eat haram. That's Islamic teaching, to survive, if there's no other option. Really, And they might have also told you there's a thing called tayyib. When you consume not only halal, but eat tayyib. You might have grown up in a family where they'd only told you halal, or told you that you must only eat halal, you must never eat haram under any circumstances. They might have never told you about tayyib. When they're cooking and eating, they might have never had tayyib food in the house. You might have never known. And you might continue that into your later life, and you might eat and die. You might live eating, and you might live and die eating non-tayyib food. But the message of the Quran is eat halal and tayyib. But you might have never heard that. So what I'm trying to say to you is you've grown up in a home, right, where there was no Islam, or where there might be your version of Islam, Islamism, and you're following the ways of the people. But you might have not really understood the message of the Quran. And you might be living your life, ignorant. That's what happened with me, until I chose guidance. I wanted to know. I want to become aware. I want to become aware. I'm interested in becoming aware of what I got to become aware to experience the peace. I'm interested in becoming aware of what I got to be aware of for me to experience being a person who's in my adult power, tayyib living, and amal. I want to become aware. I want to become aware of how to have tayyib living in my life. You get what I mean? Now you might have grown up, you're not aware of what actual halal is, haram is, tayyib is. You might have grown up, but you go to the mosque, you do everything. I call that Islamism, right? It's not Islam, but you might think you are practicing Islam. You might be reading the Quran, not understanding a word of it. The Quran says it's a guidance to humanity to heal the diseases of the heart. You might have heard no such thing about the heart and how you can heal the disease of the heart. The Quran says about remembering Allah, bringing to Allah a purified heart. You might hear no such thing. All you heard was, on a big night, go to mosque. All you heard was, put a hat on your head. Just put a scarf on your head. I'm not saying there's anything wrong or right with those things. I'm just saying all you heard is what? And you might continue that. The Quran is guidance. And so, the first and most important thing is I claim refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. Wherever I've been whispered to, my family is whispered to, other humans are whispered to, my parents are whispered to, my children are whispered to, I'm whispered to. Wherever I'm whispered to, I don't want to be continued to be whispered to. I don't want to live unaware. I don't want to live unaware. I don't want to live unaware of why I'm here and how I can have Iman in my heart. I don't want to live unaware of what it means, amal, like for example, what role I can play with my body, eat halal and tayyib, and if there is another COVID and there's no food and all you got is that dog, and everybody's dying, eat the dog. I'm just saying. No, it's haram, haram. That's not Islam. Islam is saying it's for humanity's benefit. You understand? It's not just, hey, just believe this and do this, and if you believe this and do this, you're going to heaven. Like some people say, hey, just believe this, and if you believe it, you're saved. There's no such thing. Not according to the prophets and messengers of the Creator, not according to the revelations that were brought through them. We are here. And we are here to learn, grow, and develop. We are here to become aware of Allah, aware of His mercy. Now you grew up in a home, you're just reading the Quran, you don't understand this is a mercy. We could have continued not understanding halal in the way that it is truly spoken about. We might have not understood tayyib in the way that it is truly spoken about. And we could be living our life. The Quran says, don't let Satan, after it says eat halal and tayyib, the next verse is, don't let Satan deceive you. Now you reading that book, cover to cover, in a language you don't understand, in the month of Ramadan, flying through it. How many times? He's telling you there, eat halal and tayyib. You're not understanding a word of it. He's telling you why you're here, the reason for, Satan is an enemy, claim refuge, and you're like, I'm just carrying on following the ways of my forefathers, what my father and mother told me growing up, how they ate, I'm eating, I'm going to live and die, and you get sick. I've never been healthier in my life. I've never been halal and tayyib. I've never been healthier in my life. I had an autoimmune disease, gone. Gone. Not heal me, Allah, Allah heal me, please, this is sickness, heal me, why you did this to me, None of that. The Quran says eat halal and tayyib. Be like the Prophet, how he ate. Be like the Prophet, how he got movement. He was fit, strong. Be like the Prophet. No, I got my beard, I'm like the Prophet. I got my beard, I'm like the Prophet. The Prophet used to be on horseback. He used to move. I'm just sitting now. I read my namaz. I'm so tired. I'm just sitting here. That stomach gets big. I'm just eating this non-tayyib food while I'm lecturing in the mosque, eating non-tayyib, telling them to eat halal. Not even understanding what the message. The gurus and pandits are not even receiving the message of the Quran of how we can live and play a role in our health. Their health, I know I'm generalizing, and I'm not judging, and I don't want to be right and superior. I'm just saying, ain't it funny that the people who are teaching people about Islam are not understanding the message of the Quran in some cases, or maybe in most cases. I don't know. Ain't it funny? It's not funny. It's very serious business, you know what I mean? But for me, I can't understand this. The Quran is there and what it's saying and what the people are saying and what the people are doing, they don't even understand what the Quran is about. This Quran is guiding us to peace. So, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. They don't know the most basic teaching. Claim refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. This is what I stand by. This is why the body of work that I've created since 2019 or so has been called Almighty Allah, the Believer's Refuge. It's on Spotify, it's on YouTube, Almighty Allah, the Believer's Refuge. Hundreds of lectures, hundreds. I've been doing lectures in mosques on and off from 2012. It's now going to be 2025. I've been doing this for over 14 years or so. Spoke in mosques around the country. The only non-bearded man to speak in mosques around the country. The only non-clerical Didn't go to madrasa man, speaking in mosques across the country. Shukr to Allah. Now I prefer to do this podcast because they give me more time than make available like 30-minute lectures or so. So, shukr to Allah that, what is the secret? What is the secret advantage that I have? That has been, it's not a secret, it's in the Quran. So what have I been using from the Quran to get to this point where I have healed disease in my heart, healed disease in my body, healed disease in my mind, where I'm not functioning like how I used to function. I now know what I am. Before I'm a human being and the roles that I play and the identities, I'm a creation of Allah. And I'm a temporary creation of Allah in this world. I will live and die by His permission. I'll be raised up by His permission. There's only Allah who actually is and who has favored me, favored all human beings. We're all the blessed and benefited creation of Allah, privileged creation of Allah. You see, I've submitted my roles and my identities. I've submitted my identification with the body, this world. I still am in this world. I still enjoy this world. I still love being alive, and I enjoy life. You can have Iman and still have Amal and have a tayyib life, a satisfying life. In fact, you enjoy life more with Iman and Amal. And you'll enjoy the afterlife even more with Iman, Amal, and enjoying this life. This is what the Quran is telling us. And my secret is the secret of the Quran, which is claim refuge with Allah. Before you read the Quran, claim refuge with Allah. Before you do anything, claim refuge. When you get up in the morning, claim refuge with Allah. The first thing you can do before you try to get anything is receive. I'll say it this way, and inshallah in the new year we'll continue, but I'll introduce it now. When I get up in the morning, I choose to remember and receive. I choose to remember and receive. Now, I used to get up in the morning and I didn't know that there's for me to remember and receive. But now, I choose to remember and I choose to receive. I choose to remember Allah, that He is my protector. There is no other. And He is the only protector. And enough for me is He as a protector and friend. I choose to remember. Allah, other than Allah, you have no friend, the Quran says. You have no helper. Allah is our friend. Now, how can you say that? Said the Islamis who don't understand a word of what they're reading in the Quran. If I have to explain to people what's in the Quran, they'll probably want to kill me instead of realizing that they're already spiritually dead. Other than Allah, you have no friend, the Quran says. The Quran says when you receive guidance and you draw closer to Allah, there's no fear and there's no worry. The people say, you've got to worry, and life is hard. The Quran says Allah wants ease for you. Allah is testing us. No, the test is, will you remember Allah? Will you receive His favor? Will you recognize? Will you become aware? Oh, the only thing I'm aware of is my mother, my father, my children, my money, my this. What are you choosing to focus on? Oh, my health is so bad. I was okay. I was at peace with my health being the way it was. When I was suffering an autoimmune disease, I didn't try and change it. I was patient. Oh, please help me, Allah, get rid of this. That's all impatience. I was patient. I was practicing patience. I was demonstrating patience. What is that? It's an indication of a heart that is more pure. See, when you're impatient, the Quran says Allah is not those who are Allah is only with those who are Allah is with those who are patient. That means He's not with those who are impatient. Why? Reaction to the world, attachment to the world. Only when you are at peace can you be patient. And so I choose peace consciousness. I choose true salam. I choose true salam. I choose true iman. So, the secret is, I choose to be aware. When I get up in the morning, I choose to remember. I choose to remember Allah. Before I remember my child or my family or my business. You might get up in the morning and you might remember, hey, I've got to do this. I remembered. So you get up in the morning and the first thing you do is remember, I've got to work, I've got to open the shop, got to get ready for work, got to put the children to, take them to school, whatever. I don't know what you remember when you get up in the morning. Some of you might be, I remember I've got to do this ritual. I remember Allah. I remember Allah. That's what I do. I choose to become aware of Allah. Really aware of Allah. Not, how do I become aware of Allah? Let me jump on the prayer mat. Now I'm becoming aware of Allah. No. The Quran says, standing, sitting, and even lying on your side, remember Allah. And it says the remembrance of Allah is even greater. Go and check it out. The remembrance of... So people say, from their own, they're growing up with those ideas that they got from Islamism. Remembering Allah is taking a tasbih and saying His names and counting how many times you can say an Arabic word. Is that, must I get up in the morning and take a tasbih and just say Arabic words and count how many times I say it? No. You can do that. Allah will show you where we differ. It's not for me to claim superiority over you. It's not for me to make you inferior. We're all the same. We're all here in the same boat. Every human being here had to learn to submit. Even the Prophet said among his people he was the first to submit. It's in the Quran. Abraham was among his people the first to submit. We are to submit. We're here to submit. This normal way of living that everybody is living. I'm among my people the first to submit. You understand? You can be a submitter among your people. If others haven't around you really submitted, you can be the first among your people to submit to Allah. To really be interested in the teaching of the Quran, that all human beings are the same except in level of awareness. There's no human being different here. I'm not superior, you're not inferior, nobody is superior and I'm not inferior. All human beings are the same except in the degree of awareness. Who's remembering? Who's remembering Allah more? Who's remembering? Who's remembering? Who's remembering what they are, where they are, what's going on here? Who's reminding themselves that we have Allah and His guidance, that His guidance is for us to benefit in this world through our death and beyond? Who's reminded of the message of the Quran, that Allah did nothing bad to humanity? Allah is not only the fair, but the favoring, the just, but the fulfilling. Allah is the forgiving. Allah did nothing bad to humanity. Humanity turned its back to Allah. We can return. We can turn back instead of turning our backs. Now people, they don't know that the backs are turned to God. They don't know that they haven't remembered Allah. They have all these ideas that they think they're remembering Allah. But verily in the remembrance of Allah, hearts experience assurance. See? So when you get up in the morning, are you remembering other than Allah? I choose to remember Allah first. Now if you're a non-believer, you'll be identified with the body, mind, the roles, the identities. And you'll be remembering, I got this to do, that to do. It's all about the world. But as a believer, you got the cleansing of your heart to do. That you're here in a temporary world, you're not to be distracted by this world. That you are here to remember Allah, remember who you are, remember what's going on. You are here to purify your heart. You are here to bring to Allah a purified heart. If you get up in the morning and you don't remember that means you haven't submitted. If you get up in the morning and you haven't reminded yourself of the fact that, Allah has got your back. Allah is with you and for you, He's given you guidance and you have guidance. And when you become aware of Allah's loving nature, His kind nature, His merciful nature, there's security in that you can put your trust in Allah. That you have Allah for you. Not that I'm here for my business, I'm here for my fame, I'm here for my fortune, I'm here for my children, I'm here for my parents, I'm here for society, I'm here for the world, others should be here for me. I'm here for my soul. I'm here for my soul. I'm here for my heart. I'm here for peace. I'm here for my security, to live and die as a believer, to be raised up as a believer. You know what I mean? I remind myself that there's no guilt, there's no shame, there's no unworthiness. There's just the thankfulness that the purpose of life is to bring to Allah a purified heart. The Quran says death and life was created to see who will draw closer to Allah, who will remember? That's the purpose of life. Life was created for me to be a big shot in my children's life, or be a big shot in the world. Life was created for me to live in this world forever. No. I remind myself that I have the most valuable, the one alone, all valuable, Almighty Allah, whose guidance, and I'm choosing to become more and more aware, is what I'm trying to say. I'm aware of Allah, I'm aware of His favors upon me. I'm choosing to remember that there's guidance and why I'm here. I'm choosing to live with intention. If a day goes by where I don't draw closer to Allah, I have failed myself. I have worshipped Satan. The Islamis, the lifetime comes and goes, and they don't really remember Allah. That's got nothing to do with me. I'm just saying, the choice is yours. Choice is yours. You want to continue to live and die in a state of unconsciousness, or do you want to choose to become more aware? I choose awareness every day. I choose more and more awareness of truth. I choose inclination to truth. I choose to see things as they really are. I choose not to be controlled by Satan's promptings and whisperings. I choose to realize the real reason that I'm here and to live in accordance with that reason. That's what I choose. I choose greater levels of awareness with Allah, rather than living with unconsciousness and unawareness with Satan. Satan stands in the path and he renders people ungrateful, meaning you can't remember when you worship Satan, and you forget. You don't know that you have eyes, ears, that you're the favorite creation of Allah. You're living in a trance when you worship Satan. But when you say A'udhu, and you're committed to A'udhu, you awaken to a level of higher levels of awareness and reasoning, and your life is not the same. You're functioning as a higher human being, the higher perspective, and with more faith in your heart, and that's reflected back to you, and you're playing a more positive role in your life, and Allah's blessings you're receiving in this world through your death. And it's a wonderful thing to be a believer. I pray that for you too, that you live beyond who you know yourself to be as a non-believer, and actually live as a believer and enjoy life. It's tough in a world where you don't have role models like this. But I did it. You can do it too. If that's what you really want, you can do it. Shukr to Allah. All praise, glory and thanks is due to Allah Almighty. His trust, His blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.